a woman can be a sexually liberated virgin. Let's be very
No.
I'm about to burst, but Journey needs to talk. We've been talking over Journey. She needs to make her point.
No worries. No, just go ahead, Shar. Finish up. We got time. Finish up, Shar.
I'll acquiesce. Journey can pick up.
No worries. And just before I pass the Journey, those two words contradict each other: sexual liberation, virgin.
Yeah.
Those two words contradict each other.
I understand why you think that as a man. Yes.
No, by definition.
So let me explain a little bit by what she means by a virgin being sexually liberated. What that means is that she has self-discovered and understand what pleases her. It doesn't mean that she's sexually promiscuous. It means that she has had taken some time to herself. She has learned about her body. She's self-discovered, and therefore she knows what pleases her. So when she does get to a point where she does have sex, she can then express to her partner, touch here, lick there, touch down here, because she understands her sexuality. So I just wanted to explain that because Char is actually correct. Is women do there is something that is called sexual liberation, is where you understand thyself. Okay, that doesn't mean you're promiscuous. It means you understand thyself. It means you done took a shower, you done found out what the little hose does, and you know where all the little parts are. You understand your labia.
Don't be spreading the sauce.
Research. So you've done the labia. That you truly understand your inner self. Because a lot of the women will go out there and don't even know that their first time they're supposed to lubricate. They don't. But they have, some young ladies have actually done some research to figure out that these are some of the things that they've done. They touched, and so they figured things out. They're like, okay, this works like this works like that. So I just wanted to just, kind of like go on that. Another thing as far as body count. I'm going to tell y'all right now, okay? I'm a sexologist. Body count don't mean shit. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Because I've seen some of the highest body count get to a place in which they have emotionally healed and have had successful relationships. Why? Because they self-discovered self, they've made peace with themselves, okay? And they have reconciled their emotions, all right? And they have matured and evolved, okay? And so what ends up happening is that, like, a lot of guys are talking about body count and all this other stuff. And the reality is that when we become, y'all got just as much as high body counts as women, vice versa, back and forth. And that's not what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is that when you find a woman who has emotionally healed, okay, who understands her femininity, who has gone through some trauma, yeah, she might have been ran through a couple of times, but she knows who she is now. And she's confident and she's resilient and she knows herself and she's feminine. A man is going to be attracted to that, right? So it's all about the energy that you bring to the table. Yes, men will go through your social media. They will go through all of that stuff because they low-key FBI agents, all right? As soon as they figure who you are, that's why if a man, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is asking for your social media, say next. Because he's going to go in there and investigate. Real talk. So if y'all have not cleaned up your social media and he turns around and says you're a hoe, that's your problem because you didn't clean it up in order for him to not be able to see that. But if that's what you want to portray, then that's on you. But as far as the body count is concerned, I have seen a lot because I counsel couples. I've seen a lot of couples and a lot of women that have gone through so much emotional trauma. However, they've self-discovered. They've healed and they're healthy. And men are attracted to healthy women. Men are attracted to unproblematic, undramatic, nurturing, feministic women. So you can have a gazillion body count, but if you have discovered the key to healing yourself, if you've discovered your femininity, if you discovered your value, and you give yourself that value, that man's going to recognize that. He's going to pick up on that. And so I just, I know you guys, it's coming from both angles, but I want to give it from a clinical and from a research perspective, because this is really true. If you have healed, if you have emotionally healed, a man is going to be attracted to that. He is, no matter what happened into your past, right? Because we're all intended for human connection. So, I mean, you guys can rebut me on that, but the reality is that
I agree with every single word that you just said, but you keep in mind that men believe that men give women their value. Men determine how valuable a woman.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. I'll let the fellas respond, because ladies are saying that men don't care about a woman's.
No, I never said they don't care about it. But when it comes to finding their ideal partner and making connections, okay?
Mhm.
If that woman is mature, healed, feminine, and she's in a position in which she wants to connect and understands who she is, he's going to be attracted to that no matter what her past is. Real talk, guys. He's going to throw her past out the window because now she's at a different level. She's in a different place in her life.
Okay, no worries. Let me ask
just like you might be in a different place.
the fellas. So Claudio, yeah, can you respond to what she said? She's saying that if a woman has a high body count, and she's healed, men will still take her. What's your response to that, Claudia?
The problem with that way of thinking is that experiences can be taken back. I'm going to give you an example of this. When I started traveling around the world, I went to Dubai, I went to Miami, Los Angeles, New York. You start to get this. At first, it's like magic. It's like you are going to Disneyland and everything is magic and everything is exciting. But when you start to do those things a lot of time, you go to Dubai for the second time, you go to Tokyo, at some point, you get desensitized to that. So it's not the same feeling. You can be healed, but the problem with women that have a lot of experiences is that they start to do, in Portugal, there's a thing called chimera, that is like a beast that has like the lion feet and has the wings of an eagle, and that's the head of a dragon. So when women have a lot of experiences with a lot of men, they start to put the best parts of every partner they have together in one. So when you get to the guy that you are going to marry, he might be a great guy, but you start to compare. It's not the height of the John. John was 6'3". Oh, he doesn't have the car of Rui. Rui had the great car. He's not as good in bed as the other guy. So you start to make this imaginary monster on your head. And the problem with that is, even if you heal, as soon as the things start to get boring, you are going to start to comparing with the exciting traveling that you did with James, the exciting times you went to somewhere with John, and that's problematic because of that. And just to finish, Char, it's not about promiscuity. We will never know if a woman has 3 sexual partners or 33. We will never know. But men just don't like the idea of promiscuity. So if you have like a social media and you show your ass or have a lot of photos that are give you the idea of promiscuity, you will be put aside. If you flirt in the party with the boss of your husband or with their friends, if you have some, imagine if you can be a virgin, but if your husband brings his boys home and you are dressed in booty shorts and a top and you are virgin, you never touch them, that's the guys will not vouch for you, because you might not be sleeping with them, but you are presenting the idea that you are promiscuous. So it's not about if you sleep with a lot of men, it's just about the fact that you don't flirt with them, you don't show yourself to everybody, and that's why you can have a virgin that is sexually liberated. A man can be confident. A confident virgin doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No worries. And
if I can add one thing, I'm gonna add one thing.
Give us 1 second, but real quick before I pass it to David, Claudia, I just one question to ask you real quick. So if you met a woman that healed and she's healed and she's a woman, she's everything you want in a woman, but she's healed, but you found out later that she slept with everybody in town and has a high body count, would you still wife her?
She's disqualified because she's disqualified for one reason. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the data that David Advocate talked about before. Woman, I think the number is 6 or 7. After 6 or 7, the divorce rate skyrockets. After the 6 or 7 partner, the divorce rate between woman and man skyrockets. Here in Portugal, is the same thing. 70% divorce, 80 or 90% the woman initiated. Why? Because casual sex here in Portugal, for example, or in Europe, is become such a big problem that women are doing things that men usually do, and the brain capacity that they had to absorb their trauma is not matching up with the experiences they have. So when they get to the marriage, they say, okay, let me just make the checklist so I can finish my life and have my kids and have my house, etc. But as soon as the checklist is done, they start to go back to where they were before.